Dr. Kelly Casperson and I are jumping on here literally last minute. She is at a conference right now, the Menopause Society, but she has a new book. Well, a book that she's releasing again because it's so darn good. So she's going to jump on here and talk about it. I'm going to make sure I have a link to it too. We decided we were going to do this last minute. Let me see where she is. Do this at the very last. Let's see. Literally live. Like, we're texting each other and we decided we're doing this to make sure that we get the word out on her book. And because I'm not going to be in New York when she's here next week. And hi, how are you?
Look at I got the Chicago River.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I was just saying, I was like, I'm not going to be here in New York. You want to go live? Let's do it. How's the conference?
Really great. It's amazing. Like, everybody here wants to help midlife women, and like they see them, they treat them. There's, I think, 1,200 people here at the conference.
Oh my gosh, I love
these
it.
People
That's amazing.
Exist. We just have to figure out how to hook up the women with the people.
We're doing it. You're doing it. Okay, so first of all, there's so many things I want to talk about. Of course, we want to talk about the book. If you guys have not gotten, do you have a copy of your book with you? I jumped on here so fast, I didn't go in my closet and get it.
It's written backwards on Instagram. That's all Instagram's fault. And it's called You Are Not Broken.
Perfect.
All over your sex life.
I love this book. I love you and your enthusiasm with all of it. And I think that so many women have questions. You know, you've been so gracious with your time all the time asking them. And so I said to people, I'm jumping on with Dr. Kelly. If you have questions, throw them in there. So do you want me to ask some of the questions first?
Oh, if they're up already, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. We already have them going on.
Oh, yeah. Q&A is the best.
All right, let's do it. What do you suggest? Well, let me see. Let me start back here. I've got to be fair. Okay. What are the two medications that you just mentioned on the live with Dr. Mary Claire? There we go. What two medications?
They're following me across the internet.
Oh,
it's so good. So there's two FDA-approved medications for hypoactive sexual desire disorder, which is a mouthful, but think of it kind of like low libido, meaning I have no interest in spontaneous desire or responding to desire, right? So that's what hypoactive sexual desire disorder is. I want two FDA-approved medications for female low desire, and those are called, and that's premenopausal. The FDA did that to us. The FDA split women into pre and postmenopausal. More on that forthcoming. We're lots of exciting things in the works with that.
Yes, we do.
But currently for premenopausal. But this is what I say: your insurance company's not coming to your house and asking you if you have pads in the closet.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. They're
not coming.
You know, I was just on the phone with Dr. Rachel Rubin, who mentioned you actually this morning too. So we were talking a lot about that and talking about the postmenopausal factor of that. Okay. So those are the two medications.
One is a daily pill taken at night. That's flibanserin, brand name Addie. The other one is an on-demand injection taken about 45 minutes prior to initiation of sexual activity. Can take longer to kick in for some people, but it should be good in your body for about 16 hours afterwards.
Perfect. Okay, because I think that these are important things that people need to know, these like direct answers to questions like that. Okay, is oral progesterone more effective than cream?
Yes.
All right.
We have very little progesterone / desire data, but we do know that vasomotor symptoms of menopause is one of the top 2 reasons that women lose interest in sex in midlife.
Okay.
One of them's availability of partner. I can't help you with that one. That's your role, Tamsen.
Yeah, I got you covered.
You got me covered for availability of partner and finding the partner. And then the other one is symptoms of midlife, perimenopause, and menopause. So progesterone can help that. The guidelines say transdermal progesterone. So the bioidentical type, it's too big of a molecule. The cream that you buy on Amazon is likely bullshit. The compounded probably gives you enough to treat some hot flashes. So you think you can kind of feel you're getting it. Probably not enough for the uterine protection if you have a uterus. We have seen higher reports of issues, cancer with the uterus with compounded topical progesterone. The synthetic is different. That's combi patch. Synthetic you can get through. It's usually in the combi patch, sort of patch application, because patches have their own unique thing that like get the medicine to penetrate.
Okay.
But we do have desire for sexual desire data for both estrogen and testosterone. Testosterone gets all of the big attention, but
I know.
You put a woman on an estrogen patch and she's like, whoa, they're looking good again.
Well, that's what I was wondering about. And I feel like we don't talk about estrogen enough when it comes to sex. And why is that? Because that is one part of it. So I did, HRT, estrogen, progesterone, and then added on testosterone years later. But it was because I had done tests and my levels were very super, super, super low on testosterone. But I felt like estrogen made a difference.
Yeah,
no?
Lots of women do. So
okay. All right.
That's real, and we have data on it. Why is it not talked about? I don't know, because they talk about estrogen for everything else.
Right.
But we do have desired data, and a lot of women saying it helps mood, it helps sleep. Everything that it helps with helps your sex life, right?
Yep.
You're sleeping better. You're less anxious. You're not hot flashing. Your body image is better. You feel more like yourself. All of those things improve desire.
Yep. Okay, listen, you are not broken. The first time I read those words, when I first met you, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so, it was before I even knew you. I'm like, that is so true. Like, you feel broken during this time in so many ways. And that is not the case.
Yeah.
When you sat down to write the book, and now it's been released again because I know it's so popular and your podcast is blown up. What is the one thing that you look back into that book and you say, like, this is the most important message women can get? I think when I think about you, I mean, there's so many parts of you, but I think what really hit me when you talked about this is not making women feel shame anymore and realizing that our sex life is not a Hollywood movie where we're going to drop into bed and it's all going to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had Charlize Theron's life. But...
Me too. And wallet.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's fake. What's going on there. My biggest message to women is that this is not your fault. Yeah. This is not your fault. We are socialized to not. What do we call women who want sex? We call them very bad names. And then you become a 45-year-old woman who doesn't have interest in sex, and you're like, well, I wasn't allowed to have it when I had it. Now I don't have it if I want it. Like, it's a disaster.
Yep.
So I think compared to men, the availability of products, like Viagra's on the freaking Subway advertisements, right?
I know.
Men have 20 plus medications for low desire, which is testosterone, and erectile dysfunction meds, right? Big business taking care of the men. And only recently have the urologists started thinking, are we taking care of their partner? Like, a man can't be successful if the person they're wanting to sleep with isn't also being taken care of. So the other big passion for me on this is gender equality. Yep. Are we treating people? I'm going to have such better lighting when I do this.
Oh. Hi. Oh, hi.
Oh, I'm like, I wanted to show you the river.
I didn't even look at my lighting. I was like, you can go live now. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's my natural light. But you can't see the light now, but you can see me better.
Now, but yeah, gender beautiful equality. Eyes. So let's keep it here.
Yeah. Gender equality, and that it's not your fault. We all got what I got. So I did a book event last night, and it's so nice to just talk to people and be out. Yeah. And what I realized that this book does is this book saves marriages. And over and over again, people are coming up to me and they're like, this saved my marriage. Because now he understands what her body's going through. She understands how to communicate it better. They understand that a good sex life requires two people to be having a good time in the bedroom. Right? And so for people to come up to me and to say, this saved my marriage, 100% keeps me going.
Of course. It's incredible. And you are continuing to do that every single day. I'm seeing one person after another saying, I bought the book. It's just been amazing. I now have hope. All right. I don't know how long you have. How long do you have?
I will talk to you until the sun goes down, Tamsen. No, I'm good. I'm tired.
I love you. I feel the same way. Full disclosure, the fabulous Dr. Kelly Casperson is also in my documentary coming out on October 17th. So you get to also see her there.
And anybody who's in Vancouver, Canada or Seattle, I am premiering it in Bellingham on October 20th at 2 p.m. I will have a ticket link up, I think September 20th.
Awesome. So I love those tickets.
With me on the West Coast premiere.
so excited. I'm so happy. It's just amazing. Thank you. Okay, we'll keep going with these questions because they're coming over fast and furious. I've seen a couple of them for testosterone, so let's jump into that. Talk about testosterone, and then I don't want to forget this one because somebody said they have their hormone therapy pills sitting there and too afraid to take them. So let's do testosterone first, and then I want to just make sure we hit that one.
So testosterone is made in every body. Women, ovary people, we have 4 times the amount of testosterone than estrogen in our body. We did not get taught that. You cannot make estrogen without your adrenals and your ovaries making testosterone first. Mm-hmm. So we make testosterone with, and I have to start with that because if I lead saying testosterone is great for libido, people think I'm giving a male medication. They think I'm going to give a male dose.
Right.
So a little bit of education on like, this is in every body. We have testosterone receptors in our brain, just like we have estrogen receptors in our brain.
Right.
And our bones and our muscles and our vulva and our clitoris and all the places. But so what they've learned with testosterone, and we have a global consensus on this, it's accepted by 12 medical societies that testosterone is useful and works better than placebo for hypoactive sexual desire disorder. Mm-hmm. Where does libido come from? The brain. Mm-hmm. What the biggest sex organ? Mm-hmm. The brain. Mm-hmm. So that's how it works, is it works by increasing libido.
Okay. And if your doctor is not bringing it up or talking about it, bring it up to them and tell them Dr. Kelly Casperson told me to.
Yeah, and you can go, I think it's on my link tree on my Instagram, but the international consensus for testosterone for low desire is linked there. It's also free on the internet if you search for it. Print these things out, bring them into your doctor. Yep. That it doesn't always work, but it can work. The other tip for seeing a clinician, and this is nurse practitioner, PA, whoever you're seeing, say, I would like to try this. Can I just get a prescription for X, Y, or Z? I will schedule a follow-up for 3 months and we will adjust as needed. That is the money sentence to try. Because doctors, she's going to follow up. I'm going to know if it works or not. She'll stop it. Like, they love follow-up.
Okay.
So like that's the best way to communicate, whether that's an estrogen patch, vaginal estrogen, testosterone, really anything. I would like to try X, Y, and Z. I will schedule a 3-month follow-up and we will adjust as needed.
Perfect. That's perfect. To have those words is just, I mean, that's what we need. We need those words instead of, hey, here's all the onus on you. Go in there, advocate for yourself, and then keep fighting for yourself, keep fighting, because sometimes it's really hard, it's hard.
And if you don't get anywhere, you're welcome to seek a second opinion. It's okay. We do that all the time. The International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health, ISWISH, great place to find a provider who's good at sex med and hormones. Because the sex med docs, they know that hormones are important.
Right. Okay, Wagner Malone, I want to get to this question. Please go over the cancer risk of hormone therapy. It's so scary. I have the pills sitting here and I'm so afraid to take them.
Yeah. Great question.
Yeah, it breaks my heart, and I feel like we really need to,
We need to just keep repeating, like, all the experts, we think this is basic and we've moved on.
I know, but we don't. I agree with you.
We forget that we have not moved on until everybody understands this.
Yep.
So the Women's Health Initiative is the big reason why. It's a big landmark study, came out in 2002, which is 22 years ago. It was a randomized placebo-controlled trial looking at mostly asymptomatic women who were greater than 10 years post-menopause. So they were older, they were sicker, former smoker, cardiovascular disease, right? So not your typical 51-year-old with symptoms.
Yep.
They weren't studying. They already knew what hormones helped them.
Yep.
So what they did is they put them on oral synthetic progestin, with the medroxyprogesterone acetate, which literally hardly anybody uses anymore, and an oral estrogen formulation. What we know now is most of their conclusions through further data analysis have been walked back. We actually know that estrogen alone, so remember, if you take estrogen, you don't need a progesterone if you don't have a uterus, decreases your risk of breast cancer by 22%, according to that study. And we know that the combined estrogen progestin arm, the placebo arm, was flawed because a lot of those women had previously taken hormones, therefore having a lower risk of breast cancer. So it artificially looked like they had a higher risk of breast cancer, but they didn't.
Okay.
So And if you want to accept this small percentage chance, because I'm like, let's go there.
Right,
Let's say
right,
it does
right.
increase the risk of breast cancer. It's a formulation that's no longer used.
Mm-hmm.
We use micronized progesterone, which has excellent breast protection data.
Right. So it's not even the same hormones that are used. So that has to be
Apples and
really,
oranges.
it's really, really clear. We're not even comparing the same thing anymore. Okay. Ramona's asking, can you take testosterone without opposing estrogen? My doctor didn't feel okay with that.
Oh, yeah, you can. You don't need to oppose or in addition to. Most experts will, unless you can't take estrogen, which remember is a very small amount of people. Okay. Most people will get the estrogen on board first before adding testosterone. You don't have to, but that's kind of the more common thing.
Okay. Are compounded creams okay if the pharmacy is PCAB accredited? I just want to make sure something is safe.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue that people have with compounding, number one, cost.
Yep.
Right? So your insurance doesn't pay for compounded prescriptions. It can be more expensive. But number two is the standardization of the product. Are you getting a consistent product, month to month to month? Is it consistent to what was studied? If we're comparing it to studied, a reason why. Those are the big issues with it. I think there's tons of fantastic compounding pharmacies, and I think they should continue to exist in this country. Yep. That said, most women can get what they need with a FDA-approved, insurance-covered product. Now, not testosterone, because testosterone doesn't have a female FDA approval yet. Stay tuned. Yes. Exciting things. And I just heard yesterday that British Columbia in Canada has just approved free hormones for menopausal women.
I saw you sent that out today on Threads. I saw that. That's super exciting. Super exciting. Okay. What's the best place to start getting hormones checked? Naturopath, OBGYN, PCP?
I think they're all good if they're trained.
Yep. And by the way, there's not a test in particular. I mean, hormone, if it's it's because you're wondering whether or not you're in perimenopause or where you're at, if you haven't had your period for 12 months or what are your symptoms, correct? So just to be clear, you don't, that's
many hormone experts use labs sparingly. Yes. Right? Like the hormone experts really care, how are you feeling? Because we don't have the data of like what level Tamsen should be at. We don't treat to a level.
Normal.
And that would be my warning to people. If you're seeing somebody who's making you pay hundreds of dollars every quarter for labs, that's not standard. It's probably overkill and they're making money off of it.
100%. Okay, I want to get back to your book because that's the reason we're here. If you've not ordered her book yet, Kelly's book, what day is it? I don't even know what day it is, but September 10th. Yep. There it is right there. You are not broken. Stop shooting all over your sex life. I love that. Did that just come to you one night?
Well, yeah, because I named it You Are Not Broken because I just kept telling women they weren't broken. And then what women think about sex, they're always comparing themselves. They're comparing themselves to their friends. They're comparing themselves to Hollywood. How many times should I have sex? How fast should I orgasm? What's the right way to have an orgasm? Are there 5 different ways to orgasm or 12 different ways to orgasm? Like all of this bullshit that keeps you distracted from what the actual point of sex is. So I'm like, stop shooting all over yourself. Like your sex life is uniquely yours, and that's the gift of it.
I think you make people feel relieved for a number of reasons. First, that they're not alone, but second of all, they can talk about it. And the fact that we can just like get it out and talk about it and not feel like, oh, really? My life's perfect. Or gosh, it's so uncomfortable. You don't make people feel like that. And that's what is so important about this, because we can't get anywhere without that kind of conversation getting started.
I agree. And I think the other thing, in me reading all the books about like, what book did I think didn't exist, right?
Right.
Is like, you don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to look like Charlize Theron. You don't have to buy fishnet stockings. You don't have to put on stilettos. You don't need a certain vibrator. Like, this gets to be your thing, and you get to stay uniquely you and not change who you are to have a wonderful sex life. And so much out there is like, if you just buy the right lube, or if you just behave a certain way, and it's like, no, be you.
Yeah,
This is yours.
exactly. There doesn't have to be sultry music in the background every time that you decide you're gonna have
Yeah.
sex. Okay,
Like
Wendy.
certain scented candles, like the candles, right? Like you have to have the certain scented candles in order for your sex life to be
It'll be perfect now.
It'll be perfect.
Wendy, doing all the HRT, vag, estrogen, and still have pain with sex. What can I do now?
Great question. So pain with sex is incredibly common in the midlife transition. And this can happen before your periods stop. So what they call vulvovaginal atrophy or genitourinary syndrome of menopause, one of the big issues in sexually active women is pain with sex. And even if you're not sexually active, dryness, I can't sit, like discomfort regardless of sexual activity, right? So for her specifically, I would say if you can see somebody who's good at a pelvic exam, they can look at the vulva, they can see what the labia is doing, they can palpate muscles, right? Sometimes pain with sex is a tight muscle, a tight hip, something like that. Lubrication is always good. And sometimes being on hormones isn't enough. We need to target specifically the vulva and vagina, either with vaginal estrogen or vaginal DHEA.
Perfect. All right, let me do one more of these. Okay, people are asking where they can find those papers you mentioned, because one person, I can't find her message on, but says she has an appointment this week.
Oh, good. Yeah, so it's if you Google the international consensus statement for testosterone and low sexual desire, and I think it's on my link tree on my Instagram. I haven't looked at my link tree in a while.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's on there because I always send people to get it, but it's free online.
I love it. Dr. Kelly Casperson, I so appreciate this. So you're at the Menopause Society conference. Are you speaking?
No, I'm not speaking. I'm doing book events. But we had amazing speakers today on desire. Cheryl Kingsburg spoke on desire today, and then an amazing woman talking about genital urinary syndrome of menopause. So it's exciting to see at the Menopause conference. We're talking about sex. We're talking about pelvic health.
Wonderful. And your book, can you hold it up one more time? I feel like I'm going to turn around and show the Amazon page. Maybe that's the way. Let's go backwards too. Okay. You Are Not Broken. Go get that over on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Target or wherever you get your books, or go to Kelly's page and order it, because it is a lifeline in a lot of ways. It's a lifeline. And as you said, somebody came up and said it saved their relationship. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It's really amazing.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. And the audio book is read by me. So if
people good. Good. Well, I wish I was seeing you in New York. But, we will keep pushing this out, and I know we'll find each other in a city very soon.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you soon on the documentary.
Yes, we'll see you soon on the documentary. All right.
Awesome. Thanks
Bye,
for having me.
Kelly. Thanks. Bye.